What's up, guys? So I just want to thank everybody who participated in the Q&A and asked me questions, because without you guys I would not have a video to give you, because I wouldn't have any questions to answer. So now that we've gone over that, it's recording. Okay, so let's begin this Q&A. Sorry, that's my coffee getting ready to be drank by me. So let's get this started. Any tips on tricks, how to stay consistent with hitting your desired macros? All right, so let's be just quick. All right, so one main thing would be prepping your meals. I know it's like flexible dieting. It's a little bit different from actually just like having a cookie cutter meal plan, but you still weigh your stuff out and you still have to prep your meals, especially if you're like a student or somebody who's like works like a 9 to 5 or you're super busy. So that would be a main one. Avoiding, going out to places that are going to make you go over on your macros. And then another thing would be making sure that you are cautious of how many macronutrients per meal that you're having, like by fat, protein, carbs per meal. Because for example, can I talk? See, I need coffee, guys. For example, if you have a breakfast that's like a lot of fat, then obviously that's not going to leave you a lot more fat to spread throughout the day, and most likely you're going to go over. So those would be my main 3 things of trying to stay consistent with hitting your macros. Issa Baker, this is actually my client. Hey babe. So is there any specific stores that you'd recommend that carry the most friendly macronutrient foods? Trader Joe's. Thank me later. Trader Joe's. Do I ever train HIIT Cardio? No, me personally, I do not train HIIT Cardio often. I have in the past. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I will do it now and then. If your focus is weight loss, then I would definitely suggest high intensity cardio to you. So there you go. Best shoes for heavy lifting, squats or deadlifts. For squats, I would recommend Adidas Powers, Nike Romaleos, and Innovate squat shoes. Those are the top 3. Go check those out. Any pair that you get are going to be great. As far as deadlifting, you want to deadlift in the flattest shoe. So for me, I will deadlift in, I'm sure you've seen in my videos, in Converse and Converse. So that's all I deadlift in, guys. So flat shoe or Converse, they both work. And this is Fierce Bessie B. I am actually 24 years old and my birthday is coming up in December, so I will be 25 soon here. Favorite kind of music. My favorite kind of music honestly ranges. I literally like everything from like country, Christian music, West Coast rap, current, top 20, and I really like EDM as well. So the only thing that I say that I wouldn't like would be alternative rock or like classical music and stuff like that. I just don't do that stuff. So that would be my favorite kind of music. What's my favorite cheat meal? I am a huge sushi person, and if you get actual rolls, like I really appreciate like sashimi, nigiri, like the raw fish, like the real deal Holyfield when it comes to sushi. So I really like sushi, but the one thing with sushi is that it can rack up really high in carbs as far as like the rolls go, with like the rice, obviously, because rice is a lot higher carb. So that would be my cheat meal. That or a glass of wine or a cocktail. Yes, those would be my cheat meals, guys. Now you know my hidden secrets. Maya Emily, what program did you run for this prep? So the program that I actually ran for this prep, guys, is going to be the exact program, not exact, well, somewhat tailored, but it is going to be the program that is going to be actually in my ebook coming out here in a few months, my 101 All to Know About Powerlifting. So if you're interested, it will be in that ebook. So that is the program that I ran. Arwa Lulu. What are some things that you can actually do to drop weight despite training and nutrition once you hit a plateau? So 2 things that I would recommend actually is carb cycling, or AKA refeed days, or upping your cardio. But everybody is very individual, so it could vary. But those are the 2 things that I do with my clients and that I do with myself when I hit plateaus. Is I will either prescribe refeed day, carb cycling, or up the cardio. And oh, that's so good. Coffee, why are you so good? How to keep track of your progress? This is actually a good question. So how I keep track of my progress, one, I use MyFitnessPal pretty much for everything, and my clients, I have them track their weight in there. There's like a tab that you can keep track of your weight and of your macros. So that is how I keep track of my progress. Okay, this is Nancy D311. So if you guys have multiple questions, I'm gonna try and pick like the best ones that I feel like everybody can benefit from. But again, thank you for your questions. So how do you count macros at a restaurant that isn't in MyFitnessPal? So this is a good one. So one, I would recommend obviously getting something at a restaurant that you can estimate. And getting something that's friendly, obviously. You know, some restaurants will have, you know, they'll have like skinny menus and stuff like that, but this is something that I always tell my clients, like, they're not back there weighing the food on the scale like you do at home, and they're basing those, like, that calorie number off of portions. So it's never going to be accurate when you go to a restaurant, obviously, and they cook everything in oil and butter. So I mean, how accurate can you really get? But in regards to that question, I would pick something that you can estimate count. So get like, you know, a piece of grilled chicken and some like a baked potato or potatoes, or, you know, rice or black beans or pinto beans, stuff like that, that you can just like somewhat eyeball and be like, okay, I feel like that's like this many carbs, or, you know, this is like this size of a grilled chicken, so that's probably like, you know, 35 grams of protein, stuff like that. So stuff that you can estimate. If you can't find it in MyFitnessPal, you can literally put it in word for word, like 35 grams protein, 10 fat, you know, however many carbs you think it is. So that's what I would recommend for that. What are your favorite macro-friendly places to eat in Socal? Refeed or not? Pokey. Go get pokey. All right, that last question was Tweeminator. I love your IG name, by the way. It's Alessandra Jude _. What made you want to switch from bikini to powerlifting? I had always been really attracted to the strength aspect of training over the aesthetics. So I did bikini because my sister is a pro bikini athlete, and that was what I knew. And so, and I knew I had potential in it, and I said, what am I doing not competing in this if I have potential, and like, what am I doing? So anyways, so that's when I did my 2 bikini shows, and then going into my 3rd one, bikini can just be, it's very like demanding and rigorous and mentally exhausting and challenging. It is a great experience, but it's all those things and more. So going into my 3rd prep for bikini, I was gonna do another national show, and like, I just was not 150% into it. So if you're not feeling that way with prep, you literally have to be 150, or you just don't do it, because you'll probably end up quitting halfway through anyway. So I was probably like maybe a month and a half in, and I was like, you know what, my heart's not in this. Like, I want to do powerlifting. I want to do something different. And so, because I had always wanted to do powerlifting anyhow, so I jumped into powerlifting, and that's how I've been doing powerlifting, and I love powerlifting, and I love bodybuilding. So that's how I went from bikini to powerlifting. But I always knew that I did want to step back on stage eventually again. I just don't know when. So, and yes, thank you for that question, Alessandra. This is a Skylar Moore. Why did you choose bikini over physique or figure? Before I even thought about going into bikini, I actually was gonna do figure, because I had, in the beginning, or not in the beginning, probably like 2 years ago, my quads have always been like pretty big, and in bikini they don't like bigger quads. So I actually have a borderline crossover body from bikini to figure. I could do both, but I was gonna do figure, and I was planning for figure, and then before I stepped on stage, I was just kind of like, you know what, like, I don't really feel like I have enough muscle. But it was just kind of like a toss-up, because I almost had too much muscle for bikini at the time. Now bikini is getting a lot bigger, but so I started training for it, and then I said, you know what, like, I want to do bikini. I don't, you know, I don't feel like I have enough muscle for figure at the time. Maybe I could step on stage for figure in the next few years. So then I decided to do bikini. So that's why I decided to do bikini, because at the time I felt personally that I didn't have enough muscle for figure. So that's why. Why I chose it over physique. Physique, I have all the respect for women in physique. I think that they're posing like routines are amazing. I have so much respect for them, and I really appreciate like looking at their bodies. But for me personally, that's just too much for me. I would never want to bring my body to that much muscle. To get to that, to gain that much muscle as a woman, you have to be using steroids. There's no way that you're going to get that way naturally. We just do not hold that much testosterone. So me personally, one, I would never want to get that big personally, and two, I'm not pro steroids, and I would never want to take steroids, me personally. No offense against anybody else who wants to take them. That's just my personal morals and values about that stuff. So what keeps me motivated on days I don't feel like working out? And this is Mexi.exitva. So one thing, shut up. Sorry guys, that's my roommate. Okay, so one thing I would say on what keeps me motivated on days that I don't feel like working out, and is being on training regimens. So when I mean being on training regimens, what I mean is working towards something. I've always been somebody who's very, very goal driven. I get anxiety and I just go crazy like if I don't have structure or I'm not working towards something, which it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because like you always feel like you need to constantly be doing something. So finding you know, something that you want to work towards, like a competition or something like that, and that is really what keeps me motivated, because I'm like, look, like if I don't go in and I don't, you know, do this day or whatever, if I don't go do my extra cardio, that puts me back a day. And no matter if I'm feeling like crap that day or if I'm feeling like the most motivated person in the world, no matter what, I still need to go in there and I need to do what I need to do in order to get where I want to be or achieve what I want to achieve. So days that I don't feel motivated, it's like autopilot. Like you just gotta get up and you just gotta go do it. So I hope that was helpful. Maybe that's a little bit too harsh, but that's my answer to that question. Do you still do cardio while trying to put on muscle? Why or why not? P.S. You're a babe. Thank you. I love you. This is Kateas. Kateas? I hope I said that right. Do I still do cardio while trying to put on muscle? Yes, I do. Whether I'm trying to put on muscle or not, I always do cardio, because just for basic like health purposes, you should be doing some kind of cardiovascular work, like I would say 2 to 3 times a week minimum. So no matter what, like whatever kind of regimen I'm on, and we're always trying to gain muscle, that's why we are working out and stuff. So I'm always going to be incorporating some kind of cardio. So as should you, and as should everybody else. This is VM_L_ND_Z. Do you ever struggle with weight? Did you ever struggle with weight before you got into the fit game? Okay, I don't know what that is, but it's feeling it. No, I did not. What I did struggle with actually was trying to put on weight. My nutrition was so bad that I was probably getting in maybe 50-60 grams of protein, you know, per day, and I was just eating like super fatty foods. Like my nutrition was like horrific, horrible, bad. So I actually struggled with putting on weight or putting on muscle, or making like progression with strength and stuff like that. So so that is where my struggle really came into play. But as far as like weight, I've always been somebody who's very fortunate that I was raised in a household where I was made aware of like healthier foods. My dad bodybuilded somewhat when I was younger. So as far as that, I hope that answered that question. Sorry I didn't have more of like a you know, story to that. What's a nerdy thing that you're into? Honestly, guys, yeah, I like nerdy guys, I've noticed. So that would be something nerdy that I'm into, nerdy guys. Not really technically nerdy, but just, I like nerdy guys. So I like really intelligent men, I've noticed. And big buff guys and all that stuff, like that's just not my forte. A lot of people are like, wouldn't you be into like really, really buff guys? I'm like, no, actually, I would rather have somebody who's intelligent. So, and that was Sage1354. State champion 123. When did you realize powerlifting was for you? What do you love most about it? Blah, blah, blah. When did I realize powerlifting was for me? Well, like I said, I have always been really attracted to the strength aspect of it. So then when I started actually competing and being on a more of a strength training like regimen for like powerlifting, and I started really excelling in it, there's just nothing like feeling strong. Like I instantly just fell in love with it, and it's like weekly, like it's nice because it's encouraging because you get weekly, most of the time you're getting like weekly results, like you're PRing, you know, personal records, meaning like you're hitting maximal weights that you've never hit before, and there's just really no feeling that I could describe as being strong. So when I found powerlifting was for me was when I, you know, started really excelling in it, and I just love being strong, and it's very empowering. So that's what I figured out was for me. This is Lindsay Fellows. Sorry, I'm just gonna choose one of your questions today. So what are some ways you manage stress and anxiety? This is actually a big one for me. So one main way is I try and think very logically about things. It's really harder said than done, but when you take your emotions out of like thinking about things and think about things logically, you'll stress a lot less about it. So thinking about things logically, you know, watching Joyce Meyers really helps me with my stress and anxiety, and also adding more structure to my day, and writing down tasks that I need to do, giving myself like time in between, like of what I need to do this time, being very structured for me, and yeah, and that's what I would say for stress and anxiety. Just like really sitting down and thinking about what is stressing me, what is making me have anxiety, what do I need to do to change that. And so for me, it was having like a more structured, you know, schedule daily, you know, incorporating like God and watching Joyce Meyers, and thinking about things logically. That is a big one. That will really help you out, honestly. So I hope that was helpful.